Okay, what if I told you that you could take, the most boring, repetitive part of your entire data science workflow and just shrink it down to one single line of code? Well, that is the huge promise of this Python library called Brigli. And today we're going to dig in and see if it can really transform exploratory data analysis, or EDA. Seriously, if you work with data at all, you are definitely going to want to see this.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? You get a brand new data set, you fire up your notebook, and what do? You start typing the exact same commands you've already typed 100, maybe 1,000 times before. It's just this universal headache for data scientists and ML engineers. And that's the exact problem we're going to solve today.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is, right? It's the EDA grind. You know, that first part of every single project where you're just trying to get a feel for the data. It's super important for sure, but man, is it repetitive.
You know the drill. You're checking for nulls, you're describing the stats, and then you're writing all that boilerplate matplotlib code just to see some simple distributions. And you do it for every single column, on every single project. That just eats up so much time. Time you could be spending building actual models or, finding those really deep insights.
But what if you could just skip that whole grind? I mean, just bypass it entirely. Well, this is exactly where the idea behind Brigli comes into play. It's all about moving from that super complex, step-by-step process to something radically simple.
So what you're looking at here is the before picture, right? This is the old way. It's that familiar list of pandas calls we all know. .describe, .info, .isnl, .sum, and then you've got all the plotting commands just to get a basic overview. I mean, it works, yeah, but it is so not efficient.
And now, look at this. This is the after. All of that stuff we just talked about, all that complexity, it's gone, replaced by one single elegant function call. The difference is just night and day. It's literally the difference between manual labor and full-on automation.
So yeah, the takeaway here is simple. 1. That's the number. One line of code, that is all it takes to get a complete EDA report. We're talking stats, null values, distributions, the whole shebang. It's just a massive accelerator for pretty much any data workflow.
Okay, so it's simple. I get it. But what do you actually get out of it? Let's take a look at how Brigli gets you from a raw CSV file to real, actionable insights in no time at all.
The whole thing is literally just 3 lines. First, you import the library. Second, you load your data into a pandas data frame, which, let's be honest, you were going to do anyway. And third, you just call analyze. That's it. No complicated setup, no config files. It's designed to be completely frictionless. All right, so once you've run that, you have this report object, and you've got options. The fastest way to get your info? Just print it. Seriously, print report. You'll get a super clean, really comprehensive summary right there in your console or your notebook output.
And this text summary is absolutely packed with gold. Right away, you see the big picture stuff, how many rows, how much data is missing. Then it dives into each feature. For your numbers, you get the essentials, mean, standard deviation. But for your categorical stuff, it gives you the cardinality. That's the number of unique values, which is so crucial for deciding how you're going to encode it later. Like, should you one-hot encode this or use a label encoder? It's all right there, super concise and instantly useful.
But what if you need pictures, right? What if you need visuals for a presentation or a report? Easy. You just call .show on that very same report object. Boom. Brigli automatically spits out these really nice minimalist plots of your distributions, ready to be copied and pasted right into your work.
Now, it's really important to get this. This is not just some generic data summary tool. Not at all. Brigli was built from the ground up with a very specific person in mind, the machine learning engineer. And you can totally see that focus in the features it offers.
And this is really where it shines for ML folks. It gives you metrics that are vital for modeling. Things like skewness, which basically tells you if your data is all lopsided, something that can totally wreck an algorithm like linear regression. It's also super lightweight, with only 4 main dependencies, so it's not going to add a bunch of junk to your production environment. Plus, the whole API is fully typed, which means your ID's autocomplete just works perfectly, helping you code faster and with way fewer mistakes. It's a tool built for a real professional workflow.
Okay, look, for any tool to be actually useful in a professional setting, it can't just be fast. It also has to be safe and reliable. And this is an area where the folks behind Brigli have clearly put in a ton of thought. They built security in right from day one.
This quote from the developers pretty much says it all. The whole idea wasn't to tack on security later. It was to make it a core part of the design. And that commitment, validating every single input before it touches your data, that's how you build trust, especially when you're working with sensitive production data.
So what does this actually mean in practice? Well, first off, it completely avoids dangerous functions like eval. That slams the door shut on code injection attacks, where someone could hide malicious code in your data. It's also designed to be thread-safe. That means you can run it in these complex, multi-threaded ML pipelines and not have to worry about your data getting all corrupted. And because it has so few dependencies, there are just fewer places for nasty vulnerabilities to hide. Every one of these features is a smart choice for production safety.
And hey, this whole commitment to quality isn't just talk. It's backed up by some serious testing. We're talking a whole suite of unit tests that pass on every single push, so you can be confident that this library is stable and reliable every time you pip install an update.
So when you put it all together, the value here is crystal clear. Brigli isn't just about saving you a few lines of code. No, it's about getting this huge boost in speed and simplicity without having to sacrifice any of the security and reliability that you absolutely need for professional work.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. When a tool comes along that can automate the boring, repetitive parts of your job this well, it's not just about making you faster. It's about freeing up your time, freeing up your mental energy, so you can focus on the stuff that really matters, the creative, challenging, and impactful parts of your job. So the real question is, what are you going to build with all that time you save?